This is the Richard Smith Show, where we talk about all things Kansas City Chiefs. How's it going, Chiefs Kingdom? It is Monday, March 11th, and it is bright and early in the morning, 8:08 a.m., and we have a lot to talk about here in Chiefs Kingdom. It has been a while since I put out a broadcast, and I think it's time for me to get back on the bandwagon here and get some news out there, because there's some newsworthy conversation within Chiefs Kingdom. Yesterday, the Kansas City Chiefs cut veteran linebacker and Chiefs legend Justin Houston, who has played all 8 seasons at Kansas City. 4-time Pro Bowler. He's also one-time All-Pro. Throughout his career, he's had 15 forced fumbles, 78.5 sacks. And in 2014, I know all of you remember that season where he had 22 sacks. He was chasing the sack record, and it was just a phenomenal year. That was also the year Tamba Ali had an amazing year. They both were in double digits in sacks, kind of like Dee Ford and Justin Houston have been doing as well. So Houston is gone. That era in Kansas City is over with, and look, I know there's some upset fans out there, but let's keep it real. Look what we did with Alex Smith last year. There's reasons for what we're doing, and let's just stick to the process, because it's working, Kansas City. It's working. It's hard to see guys like this go. They've been a staple on our team for years and years and years. And look, we're talking about shipping Dee Ford as well. And there's 2 teams that have interest in both these players, and it's the Packers and the 49ers. So realistically, which team is willing to take Justin Houston out of free agency, and which team wants Dee Ford on a trade? That's basically what it boils down to. So it was really nice to look. We honestly did Justin Houston a favor by cutting him, because it hit this point in his career, look, he's still worth value, but not the $14 million that he was going to cost the Chiefs this year. So that was the best case scenario for the Kansas City Chiefs, is just to cut him. We would not have got back what we have invested in him. And look, it's a Dee Ford on the trading block as well. We put the franchise tag on him, which was a smart move, but we can also clear up a bunch of cap space now by trading him off. And he's just like Justin Houston, attracting, interest from the Packers and the 49ers. So, like I was saying, which way or avenue are either of those franchises willing to take? Trade for Dee Ford or sign Justin Houston? So, and look, they'll be key assets to any team. But you have to remember this is a business. And look, here in our franchise, we're switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4. And if you are not aware of what that means, a 3-4 is a 3 lineman, 4 linebacker set. A 4-3 is a 4 lineman, 3 linebacker set. So the skill set positions on the defensive side of the ball are changing completely. Our whole defensive scheme is changing. It's flip-flopping. It's going to be completely different. So they didn't fit the scheme. So now we need to turn around and find players who are going to fit our scheme and trust Steve Spagnuolo to do his job. And look, here's the thing. We really should trust him. I trust Andy Reid. I trust Brett Veach. We're making aggressive moves. We got rid of Alex Smith last year. We cut Justin Houston this year. It's time for change. We need to get younger. We need to get faster. And this is a perfect opportunity. Perfect opportunity. So, does it hurt my feelings that Justin Houston is gone? No. Would it hurt my feelings if we traded Dee Ford? No. Because in the business that we are in, as far as football, things are constantly changing now. It's different. You don't have a player who stays at a franchise his entire career. That's almost unheard of now. So, and look, there's teams keeping up with the Chiefs right now as far as talent. So we got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And now it's time to focus on our defense. We did sign ex-Jaguars running back Carlos Hyde. Look, that was a great pickup. Do you guys remember a guy by the name of Priest Holmes? Because I sure do. one of the top rushing, leaders in Chiefs franchise history. The guy was a monster. Everybody knows it. Those were great times. Hyde reminds me of a Priest Holmes. Now, mind you, Priest Holmes, before he came to the Kansas City Chiefs, was never a starter. And when I say never, I'm not just talking about NFL. Okay, he backed up Jamal Lewis with the Ravens. Before that, he was with the University of Texas, backing up Ricky Williams. Before that, he was in high school. I'm not sure who the starting running back was at his high school, but he backed up him too. So Priest Holmes was a backup his entire career before he came to Kansas City, and look what he did. Carlos Hyde, great catching out of the backfield running back. The man can run, the man can block, the man can catch. He's big and he's fast. Does that remind you of somebody that we might have just had? And does it remind you of somebody by the name of Priest Holmes? Look, if Carlos Hyde comes in here and he plays his A game, which he's going to, because if you come to the Kansas City Chiefs, unless you're Kelvin Benjamin, you get pretty excited about what's going on in the locker room and the opportunity you have in front of you. Can he be a 1,000-yard rusher? Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's be realistic here. He's really only played for one team that had an offensive line, and that was the Jaguars. But he never really got into rhythm with the Jaguars. Last year he played for them as well as Cleveland, so he was on two different teams last year. And I believe he started with the 49ers. So, 49ers, no offensive line. Cleveland, lackluster offensive line. Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not really sure. I wanted to say at one point, yes, they had a really good offensive line, but they crumbled last year and the year before, and I'm not sure where it came from. If it was quarterback play, offensive line play, but quarterback production dropped. Running back production dropped. Is it the O-line? Has Carlos Hyde ever really had a good offensive line to run behind? This might be his first opportunity to really shine in the NFL. And this is the perfect team and the perfect scenario for him to do it. So we should be extremely excited about this. And this is a one-year deal. If he does what we think, look, he's an older running back. But he hasn't been beat up. If you look at his production, he has good production, but he doesn't have the carries as running backs like Le'Veon Bell and Kareem Hunt and featured backs. Carlos Hyde's never really been that featured back. And it says that he's going to come in and he's going to back up Damian Williams. But I'm here to tell you right now, I really think Hyde is going to steal the starting position and really take off with it. And I would love to see that happen. He had 900-plus yards in 2016 and 2017. He's a product of Ohio State University. He's a second-round pick. He can be a staple for this offense. I really think this was a good pickup. I hope all of you are excited about it. I remember when I started this broadcast over a year ago, it was when the Patrick Mahomes things was really just starting to blow up. And we traded Alex Smith, and I was saying, hey, look, Kansas City, relax. Patrick Mahomes is a prodigy, and this could be a Super Bowl bound team. And I've even had some comments from some of you listeners. Gosh, I wish I could remember your name. You know who you are. I had some comments saying that they laughed at that statement. And now, when the season was over, we made it to the AFC Championship game. Look, trust the system. Trust the system. That's all I really want to say here. Trust the system. The front office is extremely aggressive. Extremely aggressive. That's one of the greatest assets that has been transforming and transpiring here in Kansas City in the last 6 years is change. And we have needed change so bad in Kansas City for so many years that I think people didn't know how to react to it. But we also traded the number one rated quarterback from the year before. Nobody knew how to react to that. But now look, do you trust Andy Reid? Do you trust Brett Veach? Do you trust Clark Hunt? At this point, I would really have to say, I do. I do. And if you don't, you should really stop and think about what you're saying. Look at the product that's been put on the field the last 6 to 7 years in Kansas City. I trust our coaching staff. I trust that front office. Trust what they're doing. We're switching our whole defense. That's what we did with our offense. Look, the short amount of time it took for Kansas City to generate an offense that produces 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards is incredible. So now we can focus on our defense. And since we can focus on our defense and our defense only, I feel like we're going to do the exact same thing. As long as we keep it a young team, you keep it young, you keep cycling through players, you keep your leaders, and you keep your core. Other than that, everybody else is expendable. Next man up. Next man up. Youngest, younger man, faster, more determined, costs less. It's a business and it makes sense. Because let's keep it real. Justin Houston, you gave us $14 million in cap space. We have a wide receiver by the name of Tyreek Hill who will probably get a record-setting deal for a wide receiver. We also have a quarterback in Patrick Mahomes who will possibly get a record-setting deal for quarterbacks. So keep that in mind, Kansas City. There are 2 players on our team that we absolutely have to pay some of the biggest money in the history of the NFL to. We've got to trim down a little bit. Look towards the future. The future is amazing in Kansas City, and hey, look, this is a good time to really be excited about the Chiefs and busting moves and everything that they're doing. Don't get caught up in your feelings. Get caught up in AFC Championship games, Super Bowls. That's where we're headed. Justin, it's been a great ride, but everything comes to an end. And your ride in Kansas City, it's over. It's been great. It's been fun, exciting. You're a great player, and you deserve to go to a great team. And we wish you the best of luck. So moving on, because obviously we were forced to by this move, the Chiefs cutting Houston and possibly trading Dee Ford. It's not an option. We're going to have to move on. Just like the Pittsburgh Steelers did by trading Antonio Brown to the Raiders. Now, a part of me wants to be like, this is a good move. It seems like it fits. But you really think John Gruden's going to put up with his crap? Is this really going to work? I mean, look, you got to play Gruden ball. You don't play Antonio Brown ball when you are playing under a John Gruden coached team. This is not going to work, folks. This is not going to work. This is not going to lift Oakland over the hump. It's still, look, we're still going to beat an Oakland team like that by 30 points. You got to do more than that, Oakland. Jordy Nelson, Antonio Brown, come on, man. Derek Carr, come on. Like this, that's not working. Now, they do have a lot of draft picks. They have 3 first-round draft picks. And they got Antonio Brown pretty cheap. They got him cheap. They still have 3 first-round draft picks after getting Antonio Brown. You mean you got rid of our Amari Cooper to the Raiders for a first-round pick, and you picked up Antonio Brown for a second- and third-round pick? Look, that's smart. That's smart football. I don't think it's going to work for him, though. We'll see. Now, after them acquiring Antonio Brown, there's been talks of the Raiders also acquiring Le'Veon Bell. You put that scenario in the picture, look, then there's something to be a little nervous about. I mean, not any other team in the AFC West is stacking up against Kansas City. And let's keep it real. Any Phillip Rivers-led team, Kansas City Chiefs never have to worry about. So, that leaves the Raiders, who are up in the air. But remember, so were the Kansas City Chiefs last year. Nobody knew what to think of the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody knows what to think of the Oakland Raiders right now. But I'll tell you what, keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Because there's some big things going on there. And if we don't keep our core together. If we don't produce like we did last season, hey, we might not be able to keep up with the Oakland Raiders. We'll see what happens. But look, bar none, this is Chiefs Kingdom. We could care less about Raider Nation. Look, you can go sign the President of the United States. You're still not going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just saying. I mean, we got a guy by the name Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. Sammy Watkins, I'll throw in there. To me, Sammy Watkins is trade bait. I say we keep him one more year and get rid of him. I hope Travis Kelce stays here for his entire career. I'm sure he hopes he does too. We'll see what happens with that. I don't see them dishing off Travis Kelce at all anytime soon. We got a good core, Kansas City. Let's get this defense going. We have completely revamped our entire defensive staff. Now we're trying to revamp our entire defense. There's no Eric Berry talks yet. I'm sure that'll be coming very, very, very soon. We need to make a decision with him. I mean, that position's killing us, Kansas City. It's absolutely killing us. And, I mean, he's sat for 2 years. We really need to bust a move. I love you, Eric Berry, but we need some production out of you. We need you to get out of the way. So, I mean, look, we got guys with double-digit sacks that we're dishing off. There's no reason to sit on Eric Berry. But with that being said, Kansas City, there's a lot of stuff going on. So the season is back underway. The draft is coming up. All these mock drafts are going on. I look for, the Chiefs to have a defense-heavy draft again. I also look for us to draft a running back. We like to be pretty deep at the running back spot, which makes sense. And you never know. We can pull a Kareem Hunt out of the draft. So we'll see what happens with that. But it had been a while since I had done a broadcast Kansas City. It had been 3 weeks. I am back. I love talking the Chiefs. But, hey, we all need a break. And this was my little shutdown time for the year. So I am back. I will continue to do episodes every chance I get. I hope you all have a great week. And I look forward to look, there's going to be some big moves this week. So I look forward to speaking with you all about that here in the next couple days. So, like I said, Kansas City, have a great week. Enjoy all these moves that are going on. And let's get another season underway in this Patrick Mahomes era. This is the Richard Smith Show, where we talk about all things Kansas City Chiefs.